Yes. I sure for stream start.
Okay. We just have the logo up right now. Oh.
What?
Golden State.
Golden what?
The Warriors.
Yeah.
They lose and now.
Is that how you're gonna talk? Like a fucking like you're half asleep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Burrito coma. Sorry, bro.
Just so I can turn up your mic.
No. I'll probably talk like this. I'm a little sick.
Hella sick.
Hella.
Yeah, I'm a lot sick, bro. All right, I guess we'll start the show. What do you think? You guys want to start the shizzle?
It's a very pulpy beer.
Ew.
Do you like it? Is it good?
It's decent.
It's decent. Huh?
Becca will like it, but it's not.
Well, she can't have any of it.
It's racist.
We are live, Terrence.
We're live on live stream.
Yeah, good. Well, on YouTube. Yeah, I know. I need to find it. The black kyber crystal. Remind me to talk about the black kyber crystals, you guys. Okay, please.
Black kyber crystal.
Yeah. Because apparently
I definitely just burped. into
they
the
weren't
microphone.
meant to be black. Hopefully, no one's listening to us right now.
Oh
Terrence.
no, people are.
Are they? I'm trying to get to the stupid channel so I can watch it too and like
Well,
be in the
just,
chat room.
It just says Earzup podcast right now. Now it has your face.
All right, well, that's much better. Let's be completely honest, right? Apparently, they weren't. That's me. Okay, here we go.
Ew.
It's time for the show that brings the magic right to your speakers. Ears up!
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show, Ears Up Podcast. Here we are. It's hot in the studio, and we're going to complain. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see sweat glistening off of us, but it's worth it because today we're talking about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. We're doing a whole review, a whole breakdown, if you will. And we're also having Maddie and Brittany on to talk about their experience as well with Star Wars Land, because apparently it was very different than Taryn and I's experience. Oh, sorry, Terrence. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It feels like it's been a month since we've done this, at least.
Yeah, I know. We have everybody. Well, not everybody, but we have you and Bev in studio, which
Yeah.
never happens anymore.
I know.
Taryn is upstairs putting Alice to sleep. Hopefully, she'll be back to join us
Has she tried the sleeper hold?
shortly.
Roddy Piper. Put the arms down.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, basically.
Well, basically, hopefully her arm doesn't start doing the Hulk Hogan on the third one. She's
To
so
gain
weight.
power?
Right,
Yeah.
Got to Hulk up.
Man, that's the worst, is when you can tell kids are gaining power from
Bro,
screaming.
I
You're like,
know.
oh, man, I can't deal with this right now.
I know.
Anyway, we have a great show for you. Of course, we have some news. We have some new stuff to talk about. We have a whole bunch of cool stuff. But before we do that, this episode is sponsored by Getaway Today, Disney's top wholesale partner. They'll help you plan your Disneyland vacation with the best tips and secrets, all while making it affordable with their discount tickets, reduced hotel rates, and layaway plan. Head over to getawaytoday.com/earsup and start planning your magical vacation. Tell them Ears Up sent you, so we get credit for it, and use code EARSUP to save an extra $10 on your SoCal vacation package. I'm pretty excited about today's show, guys. I also have all of the stuff that we bought. Are you guys done telling secrets?
We're not
Yes.
telling secrets.
Well, I didn't want to get down the microphone.
All of the stuff that we bought in Star Wars Land.
I wanna see
have it
all of
over
it.
here too. The merch was probably the highlight, and I know that's just epic consumerism at its peak. But I love it. I think it's pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, you can find us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I'm actually having a little bit of trouble with Pinterest.
Yeah?
I'll talk to you about it later.
Talk to Taryn about it. I hate
Well,
Pinterest.
no, it has more to do with our website than Pinterest's website.
Got it.
I'm just a little confused by our new layout.
Okay, that's all right. Feedback on the show goes to Taryn at earsup-podcast.com. Show suggestions, interview suggestions, guest suggestions goes to Terrence at earsup-podcast.com. You can say hi.
Well, hello. I just tried to embrace Barry White. Did it work?
By saying, well, hello. That's not Barry
That's not
White.
Barry
Well, I was
White.
trying to get low, like, hello. Well, whatever. I'm not a black man.
Get low, get low, get low. Anyways,
Whatever,
it didn't
hi.
work. Anything else comes to me, Jason, earsup-podcast.com. If you want to support the show, and why wouldn't you, go to etsy.com/coveyears. Buy a whole bunch of shirts and, covers if you want. But buy a bunch of shirts, too. We have some cool shirts. I just put a new one up. Pirates and Mansion is what it says.
Awesome, man.
But it's if you're an old skater from the 80s, it's a skate or die font.
Yeah.
Same kind of
It's
thing.
pretty dope.
I love it. I think
I
it's
noticed
rad.
the font. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it says
Neither did
Pirates
I.
and Mansion.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. Patreon.com/earsup and spread the word about our show. If you do any kind of internet shopping, our Amazon link is on the homepage somewhere. We'll figure out where. I don't know exactly where, but, it's probably there. Speaking of Patreon, we have a new show out. It's a show with Jeremy and myself, Jeremy from speculates, of course, and it's called Ears Up in Depth. And so what we do, it's twice monthly, and we will take 2 news stories and write a summary of them and kind of go in depth on our opinions and what the stories mean and the impact for you. Plus, it's also topical. My goal is to have it, any news that breaks during that week, because part of the problem with the show is that
We don't record every week.
we don't record every
or
week,
every day
right?
or whatever.
So it will be up, if you're a Patreon supporter, it will be up at least 24 hours before the feeds. So set your alerts or whatever, and you will get first access to that show, and then we'll put it up on the feed for everybody else. Maybe even 2 days. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it's a fun show, so we have one already up. Jeremy and I did last week. I think it went up this past Monday. So it's on Patreon. It's also on the feeds as well. Ears Up in Depth. I don't know. Should be fun time. We also teased a new show that Jeremy's doing with a couple other people on Disney World and Disneyland. That sounds really fun. They have an outline for like 11 shows.
Nice.
And everybody involved in the show are super nerds. So it's going to be great.
So it's just like this show.
Yeah. But completely opposite, because they do research and they sound informed.
Good point. Good point.
Because they're educated nerds and not just nerds.
That's right.
Yeah, they're dorks then. So it sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So new show coming. New show already here. You got this show. I don't know where you would go for any other Disneyland entertainment. I really don't, except maybe Disneyland. But, who can afford that? Are you guys ready for Jason's product review corner?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
I didn't know about this segment, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, well, I did one about the socks.
Right.
It was a negative
that's
one,
right.
This is a positive one. So, let me go get it. Hold on. Talk amongst yourself.
Okay.
Really?
Okay, I'm not even joking about the burrito coma. Like, I'm so tired right now.
The burrito was really good.
And
though.
if we weren't on camera, I would unbutton my pants.
I'm glad we're on camera.
Rude.
I really don't know what to
So
say.
Marvel or Disneyland has these little kids books.
Oh, wait, let me put
Can
you back
see
on
on the thing?
the screen.
I don't know if I've talked about it before. I think maybe we've mentioned it, but this one's specific
Aw.
called Night Night Groot,
Okay.
and it's Groot and Rocket, and they're going through this whole adventure. Of,
Are they both? Sorry, I'm totally yawning. 'cause
Yeah, you are.
burritos. But
Yeah.
are they? They're both babies?
Well, I mean, I don't think they're supposed to be both be babies, but they're in the style of little cute baby animal things.
Right.
Super awesome.
Nice.
They have a book on the Jungle Cruise.
Nice.
They have one on Haunted Mansion. They have one about pirates. And basically, Haunted Mansion and Pirates, they're just singing the song.
Okay.
But the artwork is great.
Nice.
So if you have kids or if you know people with kids, honestly, if you're just a weirdo like me, just go buy the things. Most of them are at the parks. For some reason, actually, we were buying the Haunted Mansion book when we were at the park a couple weekends ago. And the cast member who was checking Taryn out for the book, right? She goes, there's a Jungle Cruise one. But they don't sell it in the park for some reason. It's only on Amazon. Go check it out.
Weird.
And so we bought it on Amazon, and it delivered, and it says narration by John Lasseter. I'm like, I bet that's why it's not in the park. I bet that's why it's not in the park. So, what do you think?
What,
Anyway,
you do something wrong?
well, I mean, no, but
It's just friendly.
in this day and age. Anyway, Night Night
What?
Groot is one, and then the ones based on the rides, like I already mentioned, they're cute. And if you get the Night Night Groot, there's a little tiny Ant-Man on every page.
What?
Nice.
Yeah, you can find him. Except there's one page that
It's
we
like, where's
found.
Waldo?
There's one page that we found that there is no Ant-Man on, and so I think they made a mistake.
Are you sure you just
Yes.
didn't see it?
No. Taryn I told Taryn look it up. It's this page too. It's this page. There's no Ant-Man on this page. It's tiny, but we have looked, and we looked it up on the internet.
Oh, he's right there.
And even Reddit was like, yeah, he's not on that page.
Oh, wow.
It's weird. So check it out.
That's kind of neat.
It's good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, the 21st Amendment has been serving craft beer in the San Francisco Bay Area for 19 years. From their initial brew pub on 2nd Street, just 2 blocks from Giant Stadium in San Francisco, to the production brewery and tap room across the bay in San Leandro, the 21st Amendment is now available in 29 states, including in and around the parks. Next time you're in San Francisco, visit the brew pub and shoot over to neighboring San Leandro to check out the new production brewery and tap room for great beers and good food. And be sure to ask for the 21st Amendment wherever you find good craft beer. All right, Star Wars Land review. Let me get Maddie and Brittany on the line here. Ladies, are you with us?
Lady.
Guess that was our cue.
That's right. How's it going? Thanks for joining us on this very remarkable Thursday evening.
Thanks for having us, Jason.
Your professional voice.
I guess so.
I appreciate it. So I think the goal is we're just going to sit and just kind of BS a little bit about Star Wars Land in general.
We have a couple questions
yeah,
for you guys.
Bev and Terrence are going to ask some questions, and I have Terrence. Let me pull up Terrence's notes. We also have questions from the chat room, questions from social media, and I have an email question, which is pretty cool. So we will get all of that answered. We'll answer everybody's questions because you know what? It's a crazy place, and you wouldn't think that. Oh, here's just something new at Disneyland. Just go and attend it. You do need a plan. I feel like, especially how busy this place is going to be, even after the reservation system is over. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. So,
all right, let's jump in. So, I think that we're getting pretty close to being butted up against the reservation time, where we're basically maybe like 3, 4, 5 days after the show's released. We're going to be at the point where anyone can go. So, and you and Terrence already talked about the entire process of check-in and all of that on the other show that was released. And so, let's not focus on that. Let's just focus on the experience. And so,
all right. Well, check-in was terrible, and
right.
Oh my gosh, no, it was not.
So my first question, and I'll throw it out there, and then someone can buzz in, I guess, to answer it. Is so you're walking up, you're in Frontierland, you're in the the backside of Frontierland, and all of a sudden you're being ushered into a galaxy far, far away. How abrupt of a change was it going from Frontierland to all of a sudden being on, was it Batuu?
Batuu.
Or in Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Land, the sequel, or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah. Just full disclosure, that's what I'll be referring to it as through this whole show.
So how abrupt of a change was it going from Frontierland to Galaxy's Edge?
I think it was pretty cool. I don't think they did. I think they did a great job in that transition. It did seem pretty seamless. So we came in through by the Hungry Bear Diner. Apparently, there's 3 entrances.
Yes,
and I'm sure.
No, there's only one.
There's only one.
Everyone goes in.
Damn.
Wait, hold on. So
Go, Maddie.
according to the map, I guess after it's open to the public, there should be 3.
Yeah, they only had one to control guest flow. So if you were entering the land, you had to enter through the Hungry Bear entrance in Critter Country. And when you were exiting, you could only exit on Big Thunder Trail. And it was just to control like who was coming in and out. And so they could check your wristbands, basically. But once the land opens to the public, then all 3 entrances will be open.
Okay.
So
Jason said it was seamless. Do you want to expand on that at all?
Yeah, I was actually surprised. Like, it was pretty, like, you're like, because, I was surprised. It was very seamless, and I would question how Disney was going to do it, but it looks really well.
So with the seamlessness, so are you able to see any of the land from outside of the land? Like, is there anything on your sight line where you can see over that ridge that you're walking through or past or under or whatever you want to call it? Are you able to see anything in Star Wars Land?
The only thing we could see was when you're in line for Smuggler's Run, you could see Big Thunder Mountain, right, Britt?
Yeah, and it was just the top of it. It looked very natural in comparison. Like it blended in very, very well with the rest of the land.
Because it's just rock
there's
formation.
like a very long entrance and like pathway to get into the land and like out of the land. So it's pretty transformative, I would say.
Yeah, I didn't really even remember trying to see out because everything is, obviously built up so high,
Right.
but you're so in awe of everything that's going on
Right.
in the actual area. Going back to the seamlessness real fast, when we entered through Hungry Bear, there was like the light posts started to change shape, right?
Okay.
And they looked like little scrap junker things. I don't even know what they were supposed to be.
Okay.
And then there was just a lot of vegetation, and it kind of blended in really well. And then you rounded the corner, and you see the spires, and so it wasn't jarring at all.
Okay.
They did a great job.
Well, okay. So then, to continue with that, because it's weird because this is not a planet that has been talked about, right?
Well,
Is this
sort of. It was from, I think, the Clone Wars. They've
Okay.
explored it a little bit in some of the stories and everything, but for the most part, like realistically, in a live
Right.
action thing, it hasn't really been.
So like
no.
2% of people know about
Yeah,
it, right?
right.
So then, what was the first thing that you saw? You're in the land. You walk in. What was the first thing that just made you go, "Wow"?
For me,
Mhm.
so I mean, it was different because I had my cast member preview and then I had my regular reservation. For the regular reservation, you enter where the new Rise of the Resistance is going to be, but nothing's over there yet. Like the ride's not open, so all they have are some like props setting out. So to me, the wow moment doesn't come until you are actually like in the outpost.
Okay. Britt, I'm sorry because
Yeah.
Maddie was.
No, you're good.
Maddie was.
I for sure agree with Maddie. Like, it was just so, yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, I definitely think once you get to like, I guess I think the moment that stood out to me the most was seeing the entrance to Smuggler's Run and just seeing all the mountains. That was the point where I was like, this is way better than Cars Land.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, if you thought Cars Land was the apex of Imagineering, dude, you have no idea. For me, like when you walk through, you go around the way we came in, right by Rise of the Resistance, you see like there's an A-wing sitting right there,
Right.
and then an X-wing, which is on a stage. And as we were leaving, there was some little like not drama, but a little live action character thing going on. But that was really cool too. And for me, it was walking into the marketplace. The
Okay.
central
Oh, yeah.
marketplace. It was because first of all there was shade, which
Right.
God bless shade. Let me
Right,
tell you right now. But it was just themed really well. It looked like a bazaar. So I guess the point of Batuu was like it was an outpost before you get to like the deep outer space, right?
Right.
The wilds of space, they
And
called it.
Right.
But then once warp speed, not warp speed because that's.
That's
Star Trek, but
So
you know,
light
but like
speed.
fast, yeah, light
Light
speed.
speed,
There
yeah.
you go. Once that was invented, people kind of stopped going to Batuu or
This sounds like Cars Land. How people stop going to Radiator Springs.
right,
and-
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very much like Route 66. Oh,
Yeah.
the major freeways are gone, so nobody drives Route 66. So
Mhm.
it was sort of run
That's
down
funny.
and sort of where you go to be forgotten.
Okay.
Well, and that sort of takes me to my question, which once the ride opens,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not the ride, but the land opens to the public,
Mhm.
do you think it's going to pull the crowd away from Cars Land? Do you think it's going to be like the new hotness? Well, I mean,
Oh.
it's obviously going to be the new hotness.
Yeah.
But do you think that area will see a decrease in
Oh, Cars
clientele?
Land. Oh, specifically like Radiator Springs.
Yeah, like do you
racers?
think that this is going to be the new hot mess?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Well, am I wrong? No.
I still want to know if they're going to increase park capacity daily. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Okay. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
If that's okay. Okay. So
Keep it moving, baby. Let's
I know
go.
that you guys went to Walt Disney World. Did you guys go on Star Tours in Walt Disney World?
No. Wait. Yes.
Okay. So you know how it's like you're in indoor.
Yeah.
And so, was it kind of the immersion was kind of like that? Did it just feel like I'm trying to figure out exactly how to say this. Did you ever forget that you're just in a different land, or did it feel like you were actually on a different planet? Like how immersive was the experience? Did it help you forget the or were you?
I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, I mean, I knew that I was in Disneyland, of course, but I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it at all because I was thinking about how they built the stuff and
Okay.
really just marveling at the sculpture
Mhm.
and the painting and the detail and all that kind of stuff. So on one level, like, not to get super meta about it, but it's like I was trying to be involved and immersed in the land, but also trying to figure out how they did it and how they made it look good, right? So it's this weird, kind of thing. But for me, I didn't even realize I was in the park, and I've heard that from other people who work, in that area in Disney, and they're like, that's some of the internal conversations they're having is like they kind of did too much because Disneyland is very clean,
right?
Fantasyland, Adventureland, like it's kind of a little clean design,
right?
The Star Wars land is not like that. It's totally different. You almost feel like you're in an entirely different park, not just not in Disneyland, but just not like you're going to enter back into Frontierland or whatever.
Well, did it feel like there was like a natural flow to? I'm sorry, you. Sorry, Maddie and Brittany, you guys can answer this in a second. But I just want
Terrence is apologizing twice before he gets the question out.
But I mean, I know that you're stuck in there for you're in there for 4 hours. There's no ins and outs.
Yeah, you can leave at any time. It's not jail.
But there's no ins and outs. Correct. There's no re-entry.
I don't know that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So once
so
you leave, you can't get back in.
Did it feel like it's going to have a natural flow? Because when I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the location, the fact that it's kind of set back, it feels less like an Adventureland or a Frontierland or a Tomorrowland where there's a quote-unquote definitive entrance and exit to the area. Especially if you're coming off the hub, there is an entrance and an exit to each of the areas. And with Galaxy's Edge, it feels more like a Toontown where you go there, you're in there, and then you just shoot right back out. So does it feel like it's going to be a good flow, or do you feel like you're going to have to fight your way through strollers and people, when you are able to go and come as you please?
I think that it's going to be sort of a mess. I would expect it to, just because, there is no definitive entrance or exit. But I would say the pathways are pretty wide. I mean, I'm sure people will get strollers to the ankles and whatnot as usual. But no, I think that the pathways are pretty wide. I would say like the marketplace is pretty packed. And like the areas around like the attractions and the cantina it's pretty packed no matter what. But yeah, I'd say it's still gonna. I don't think there's a natural flow.
Okay. Did you guys eat?
I did not. I stole some popcorn from somebody.
I ate during my cast member preview.
Okay, I'm sorry. Stop bragging. So,
Sorry.
that's fine. So the popcorn. Talk to me about the popcorn, because I know that's a big draw in Cars Land.
Cars Land.
Oh yeah,
so
with all the flavors.
Right. So what's the popcorn like? What's our choices here?
What's popping in the popcorn scene?
Oh Lord, how do I mute you?
You can't.
The one that I stole from somebody. Well, I asked kindly if I could have a piece because we're all stuck in the cantina line together.
Was this a stranger?
Yes.
You asked a stranger for food.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, she just straight up was like, "Can I have some of your popcorn?" And they were like, "Sure." Like that's actually what happened.
I'm kind of proud of you. Now go on.
Do you think that? Yeah, I'm not going to pay for something I don't think I'm going to like. But yeah, so. And I was right. I didn't like it. I'm not too sure what the flavor was, but it was the red popcorn,
Okay.
and it tasted like a spicy Fruit Loop.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they're saying. They're saying it's like a sweet and spicy
That sounds
mixture.
like
disgusting.
Thai, like
No, I
sweet
didn't even
Thai.
say it was sweet. To me, it tasted really bitter.
It's just
That's
that
weird.
I didn't want to
You
try
got a
again.
spoiled one.
So pass on the red popcorn.
Yeah.
It sounds like
All the
pass on the
popcorn.
popcorn.
Pass on all the popcorn.
Yeah.
Because I think they only have the one flavor, the sweet and
Oh really?
the Outpost popcorn mix, which is sweet and spicy. It sounds terrible.
No, that sounds disgusting.
Yeah, that's not
I wouldn't get it on spec, dude. Yeah, so Taryn and I had like an actual meal. We sat down at Docking Bay 7. I know
Okay.
there's a couple of little places to eat, but
Mhm.
that was really cool. Taryn had something called the fried Endorian tri-yip.
I've heard that was horrible.
It's crispy chicken, roasted vegetable, potato mash, herb gravy, braised shack roast. Oh, no, that was it. And then I had the shack roast, which is beef pot roast, cavatelli pasta, wilted kale, and mushrooms, which was delicious.
Did it look appetizing? Because
Yes.
all the pictures I've seen of the food look
100%.
horrible.
Pictures of food look trash in general.
How
People
was
need to stop
Terrence though? Was
doing
it bad?
I didn't even try it because I was eating mine.
So there was
I was busy eating my stuff.
A coworker went the day after you guys went, and she was showing me pictures of the food, and she said, "Oh, doesn't this look good?" And I said, "What is that, like barbecue ribs with some kind of green sauce on it?" And she's like, "No, it's a chocolate cake." So like what I'm saying, the food looks horrible. Like it looks really, really unappetizing.
Well, I think it's supposed to be kind of rustic looking in the way it's plated because you're at an outpost and you're trying to like be this whole themey thing.
Right.
But I don't know. The pot roast I had was great.
Okay.
The meal I had was great.
If there's anything I want with my food, I want it to look rustic.
That's true.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly
Well, and it was served with this metal sporks, which looked really cool.
That's neat.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Which Jason stole.
you're not supposed to
No,
say
you
that,
did not.
Brittany. Wow.
I'm a little embarrassed of you, right?
Well, I didn't. I told her that I did, but I didn't really.
I don't believe you.
Liar.
There's no way. There is a metal spork in this house somewhere.
I just ate my burrito tonight with a spork. I didn't know where it came from, and now I do.
I'll edit this out. It'll be fine. But I was sat down. I was like, these aren't going to last. This is not going to last. And then I heard last week that they are now serving food with metal forks, like just actual silverware instead.
Okay, which makes sense.
But people were stealing them and putting them on eBay and selling them on eBay for $25 a piece.
How much did you get for it?
I didn't do it.
How do those people not get in trouble?
I mean,
Like they obviously stole it. They're selling stolen merchandise.
stolen merchandise? Yeah, I don't know. I think that was really weird. Since we're on food, let's talk about milk. The
Yeah,
blue
that
milk and the
looks-
green
My next
milk.
question.
And
Thank
it's
you.
flavored. It's not just colored.
Yeah, well, Maddie, Brittany, you guys
Don't
had the
look at me
milks,
like
and
that.
did you like them? I forget.
I
didn't have
did
milk.
not. I had it during my preview and I did not like it.
Which one did you have?
I had the blue milk.
I
Okay.
mean, but honestly, like I'm at Disneyland. You know what I want? Some
Milk.
milk. Like what?
But it's like not milk. That's
Milk
very
is a bad
deceiving.
choice.
Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it's milk, but it's like a slushy."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh."
I didn't realize that either. It comes out of like a
it's
little margarita machine.
It's like butter.
kind of thing.
Sounds
It's like a margarita, but it's coconut milk or whatever. So the
Well,
blue
there's-
milk is coconut and rice milk with dragon fruit, pineapple, lime, and watermelon. I liked it. I thought it was really good. The green milk, Taryn got one of each, which was very refreshing on the hot day waiting in the friggin' sun in the cantina line for an hour.
We'll get to
Waited
that.
in line. And then she got the green milk also, which had mandarin orange, passion fruit, grapefruit, and orange blossom. To me, it tasted like a banana now and later, or Laffy Taffy. I hated it. I thought it was
Nice.
garbage. But the blue milk, I liked. Alice loved it.
I heard if you mix them together, they're supposed to be really good.
Ew.
I'm dead serious. I heard that's what makes it better.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do that.
All right, so cantina. Did all three of you guys go to the
Ooh.
cantina? Oh,
Yes.
boy. Okay.
Yes, Brittany and I got a story.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
share your
All right,
story.
Share the
Let's go.
story.
Maddie, you can tell it.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, so we enter the land, and our plan was to go straight to the cantina. That's where we were like, "This is our plan, cantina," and then we'll try and get on Smuggler's Run when we can.
Same.
This is your
'cause that's what
non-cast
everyone
member
says.
preview, right?
I'm sorry.
This is your non-CM preview, right?
Yes, this
I
is
just
me
wanted
and
to
Brittany.
make, just wanted to make sure. Okay.
And so I'm leading Brittany through the giant crowd of people who don't know where they're going through the land.
Mhm.
So I'm finally like, okay, we get to the cantina, and they had the red pole up, meaning you can't get in line for the cantina. So there's a cast member standing there with a pole and a red flag, meaning no line.
Right.
So we're standing there trying to wait to get into the line. And so they're kind of like doing their guest control, getting all the guests who are waiting for the cantina to wait against the wall. And so I don't know how long we waited there, maybe like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 20 or 30.
Yeah, and during that time, like, I was kind of getting stressed out. I was like, oh my gosh, should we even be waiting here right now? So Brittany waited, and I went over to Smuggler's Run just to make sure, like, we were doing the right thing. And everyone, all the cast members at Smuggler's Run were like, come back to us. Like, just go to the cantina first. We'll have a shorter wait later. And so I was like, okay. I come back to Britt, and they flip the pole over so it's green, and it was a stampede. I don't know how Brittany got us into the line, but she got trampled.
Oh
To
my
get
gosh.
into the line.
I felt like I was carried into the line with all the people.
Jeez.
Like, and I turned around and I was like, well, at least one of us is in the line and I can get Maddie later. So
Yeah.
it took like 10 minutes for us to meet back up in the line.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
insane. And I was stuck. I could not move between those 10 minutes because I was sandwiched between the people trying to fit themselves into the line.
Oh my
It was a mess.
gosh.
That just would make
Yeah.
me so angry.
Yeah, it was pretty messy. I mean, when we entered, so we went the day before, right? And I didn't know that was our plan too, the cantina. But what I didn't do is I didn't look ahead. I didn't look at the map because I didn't want to. I don't watch trailers for movies. I didn't want to be spoiled by anything. I just wanted to discover and experience the whole thing. But I also assumed that stuff would have signs on it.
Yeah.
There's no signage anywhere. I don't know what anything is, man. So I missed a couple of the shops because there had no sign. I had no idea what was going on. But
do you think signs are coming? They're just not there yet?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they were there's going to be signs in English in 6 months over stuff. But it was in like Yarbaresh or whatever the Star Wars language is.
Or it'd be very sneaky. It would be like airfield or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but it would be something like that, meaning like, oh, Smuggler's Run is that way because that's where the Millennium Falcon is. So you'd have to like use your brain to figure out what they're trying to tell you.
Yeah, it was almost too immersive.
Trying to do that?
Yeah, it was almost too immersive in that way. It was like they tried too hard to deliver something that's just never really been done before. But for me, it was confusing. But I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, Cantina line was crazy. But that's where you should go. That's where everybody's going to be going. Okay. And now they have a text reservation system.
That, yeah.
So it's a lot easier. So you can go, I guess, drop your name. I'm not entirely sure how it works, and then you go explore other stuff, and then they'll text you when you're.
So the reservation system doesn't work there?
Oh, like if you want to reserve like a car thing? No, it's completely different.
Okay.
All right. Would you say that Star Wars Land?
Yeah. You're doing great.
I know. Duh. Would you say it's small child friendly?
I would say no.
I would say it's small child indifferent. I mean, there's nothing for small kids there.
Right.
But there's nothing. I don't know. Well, why do you say no, Maddie?
That was Britt.
Oh, why do you say no, Brittany?
Rude.
Just because there's not a lot of things for them to do, like you said. Like Smuggler's Run has a height requirement. The cantina is clearly aimed for adults. I don't know how you would even watch your child at the cantina because it's so crowded inside. And it's a lot smaller than you would think it is. Yeah, the pictures are pretty deceiving. It's a lot more crowded and cramped. But yeah, and I just expected a lot of people to be there.
Yeah, that is true. Like, we couldn't take the stroller in, obviously, so we had to park it with all of our stuff in it, sitting in it.
I'm sure that made you very comfortable.
Yeah, it really was. And like for the rest of the day, we're carrying around like $8 million worth of Star Wars merch in our thing, and like we parked the stroller, and it's just overflowing with stuff. I'm like, man, God bless Disneyland fans, because nobody has stolen my stuff yet, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, the cantina is very small, and we had Alice, and it was very tough with her. And in fact, Taryn left a little bit early to go and feed her and get her taken care of because she didn't want to be held. But you can't put her down,
right?
Because
there's trampled.
Yeah, there's 2 rows of people behind you, and everyone's trying to clamor. And in fact, they tell you, or they told us, going into the land, so there's no seats at the bar, so you're kind of going to have to elbow your way up to the bar as you would in a real bar. And I'm like, how is that okay? You're telling me to elbow people and to nudge people out of the way and to basically be aggressive to get a drink? I'm not trying to do that, but I'm sure it'll die down by the time 6 months down the road. Probably won't be that hyphy, but it was weird.
Did you guys?
No, when Brittany and I went, they told us, like, they were like, "Oh, you're a party of 2, so since you're a party of 2, you're gonna go stand at the bar." And after an hour and a half of waiting in line, we finally got to the bar, and we still had to wait another 15 minutes to maybe find a spot at the bar, and then another 15 minutes to flag a cast member down to take our order.
Hard.
To literally make eye contact with the cast member.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's like a real bar. I did learn that
it's not like a real bar.
Not like a real bar.
That the drinks are pre-mixed.
I'm not surprised.
Like the tiki drinks and stuff. I didn't know it, but the drinks that I got, or Tara and I got, were really good. Right. And usually you think of pre-mixed drinks as not being very good. I was impressed with the drinks.
What did you get?
I got the Yub Nub because it came in the. Oh, should we just show the mug? Let's just talk about the mug.
$42 on a drink?
Of course he did.
Yeah, because it came with a tiki mug, homie.
Are you surprised? He is the bougiest person we know.
First of all, not true.
100% true.
True.
Thank you.
This is the mug that the Yub Nub.
Oh yeah, that's totally worth $42.
You know what's it?
I think it's dope.
Thanks, Terrence.
It's
Look at
indoor
it.
with the Death Star on it. And
it looks like it's carved out of like a stump of wood, but yeah, there's a whole Death Star battle scene and
the
indoor.
Second worst characters, the Ewoks on there.
Stop it!
Bad,
Ewoks are amazing. How dare you?
I'm glad they got trampled.
You're fired.
Well, it is very heavy.
Fired. Right. So anyway, the Yub Nub, it had yuzu puree. First edition, baby. It's going to be worth tons of money. Pomegranate juice, white cranberry juice, and a cloud swirl, which was, I think, like passion fruit, like seeds kind of on top. It looked thoroughly disgusting.
Sounds
but tiki
gross.
drinks really don't. That's why they're in mugs, because they look gray.
Exactly,
yeah. It was delicious. It was bright. It was well balanced. It wasn't overly citrusy. It wasn't overly boozy.
Right.
Basically, it wasn't like being at Trader Sam's.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is overly amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taryn got the Bespin Fizz, which was rum, yuzu puree, pomegranate juice. Wait.
Yeah.
Hold
you're
on.
right.
No, I know, but so the Bespin Fizz is rum, yuzu puree, pomegranate juice, white cranberry juice, and cloud swirl. The Yub Nub, I mixed my lines.
Mm-hmm.
The Yub Nub was pineapple rum, spiced rum, citrus juice, and passion fruit.
Sailor Jerry.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
But the Bespin Fizz was in this kind of, I don't know, funnel-shaped, long fluted drink glass. That's what they're called. And it had dry ice at the bottom.
Nice.
So it was like
Oh,
bubbling
I
and kind
saw
of smoking
that.
or whatever.
Well, I've seen some bubbling fizzing drinks.
It was really cool. I liked it a lot. Like, have you ever been to Moe's Tavern in Universal Studios?
Nope.
Oh, that place is tight. You can get a flaming Moe
Nice.
in a glass,
Yeah.
in the flaming Moe glass, but they have a little, I don't know, like a compartment underneath, and they put the dry ice in there, and I think that's how they were getting it. So you don't drink the dry ice.
Well, they
the
do,
dry ice
they
in
do
your
that
mouth.
same kind of thing over at the Lamplight Lounge as well.
Oh, okay.
With yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Did you guys?
I will say that the dry ice made it so difficult to drink because it just cleared my nostrils up, and I had to chug it when I was drinking it because it was so hard
Really?
to breathe.
See, that was a bad thing.
That's crazy. You guys want to talk about the music real fast, right? Brittany, I know
Thank you.
specifically you.
Oh, that was one of my questions.
Oh yeah. Well, Maddie got a different drink than all of us. She got the Jedi Mind Trick, right, Maddie?
Yeah.
It's not
What was
what
in that?
I'm looking for.
I don't remember what it was. I
It's,
know it.
It's
was
Kettle One.
vodka.
It's Kettle One.
Yeah, it
botanical-
was vodka with a lot of
I got it.
like white grape juice and lime juice. It was,
Okay.
it was pretty fruity, right?
Yeah, I have it right
Yeah,
here.
it was.
I
It was
have-
good though. I liked it.
All right, I have the ingredients right here. It's Kettle One botanical grapefruit and rose vodka.
Botanical grapefruit.
You
What
heard
is
me.
that?
You
dude?
heard me, bud.
That's stupid.
And what fruit?
Rose grapefruit and rose vodka. John D. Taylor's Velvet Falernum. Yeah. Bowls blue curacao, white grape juice, lime juice, and grapefruit bitters. I have never
my
had grapefruit bitters before.
Goodness.
Like my mouth just like puckered.
Yeah.
That sounds so.
My mouth just got very dry.
That
Jeez.
sounds very. A lot of these drinks seem very light and fruit forward.
That sounds tart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It was
Okay.
a little tart, but it wasn't overwhelming.
All right, let's talk music.
Yeah, the music was pretty. I mean, it was pretty themed. When Maddie and I were there at the cantina, the power went out and DJ Rex glitched. And if listeners out there don't know, DJ Rex used to be Captain Rex in Star Tours, and he would lead you on your journey. And then C-3PO came in. But so when the power goes out and he glitches and he comes back on, you can hear the Star Tours ding 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 or whatever it is.
Nice.
But it'll come on and he'll glitch and he'll think he's on Star Tours for a quick second, and then he'll switch back to DJ Rex.
He did that when we were in there, and I wasn't clear exactly what was going on because it was kind of loud. There were a lot of people in there, but so I missed the little chimes. But that is cute. I liked it. I think it was really cool. It was very reminiscent of Chuck E. Cheese. Because he's like up in the central area, like doing his thing, and I brought Alice over there and whatever. But yeah, it was very cute.
Well, what was fun about it was that the cast members got into it. So when he lost power, the cast members started banging on the walls, trying to get it to start back up, and they were very in show, and it was fun. And then he turned back on and then played the classic music, and the whole cantina went crazy. So that part was really fun.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That didn't happen with us.
Oh.
The cast members didn't care.
Our cantina got real into it.
Yeah.
I actually want to go back to the ride.
Oh, geez. All right.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
What did you think of the queue? Like, obviously that ride's going to have some lines. Do you think?
So I did it differently, I guess, because they sent me through single rider.
That was my next question. Is there a single rider option?
There's a single rider option, or maybe they sent me through Fast Pass. I don't know, but I was alone and I was going to go into the ride, and they're like, no, go this way. And it was up these ramps.
You did the parent pass or whatever?
No.
Oh.
I was the first on, but the guy saw that I was alone, so he sent me up. I guess it would probably be the Fast Pass corridor. I don't know.
It was the creeper part.
But yeah, that's right. Oh, I'm sorry. You're supposed to say 50 feet away from people.
Right.
Let's get you in this way.
Over here, sir.
Yeah, but there was no theming at all until you get to, I think it was the Fast Pass line, because there was no theming at all until you get to the place where you would give the cast member your ticket, where the two lines merge.
Right.
It was just a friggin' hallway that looked, sort of rusted and aged. It was really boring, and you can kind of see
It's kind of lame.
there was like a wall, like a separation between the actual line and my line, the
Oh,
Jason
wow.
line,
Yeah.
and you can see stuff.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how the queue was. Taryn
Oh.
says it was cool, but it was a lot of people that were in there.
You're right.
It seems like there's a standby line. It looks like they sent Jason up the Fast Pass line, but the Fast Pass line obviously is not in use yet. No one's using it. And then there's a single rider line. I went up the real single rider line, and it's just a dark hallway. Like, that's it. And then all of a sudden you're at the grouper. Like, so Jason definitely went up the Fast Pass line, and they were probably just using it for single riders. But the queue itself and like the show immersion, I think maybe just because like I'm not a massive Star Wars fan, don't hate me, but I didn't understand what was going on.
Okay.
Where like compared to like, I still think like Indiana Jones has a way more detailed queue than Smuggler's Run, because I could understand that I'm in a temple. I wasn't sure where I was at in Smuggler's Run. Like,
Yeah, for
someone
sure.
has to explain it to me.
Well, yeah, I mean you're in the loading bay to get into Star Wars, into the Millennium Falcon. Are you serious?
I'm joking.
Okay. Bev goes, it's a temple.
You guys both just looked at me like I was the biggest idiot ever.
But once you're in the Falcon, I think that was incredible. Like
Yeah.
I put some photos on like our Instagram story, but I still have some really cool close-up photos of just the intricacies of inside of the Falcon. Right, it's a hunk of junk.
Yeah.
It's cobbled together, different parts of whatever. Right, and they did a really good job making circuit boards look blown out
Nice.
and damaged
Nice.
and repaired, and they did an amazing job. They did. Theming was great,
Awesome.
absolutely great.
Okay.
All right, so you're up. You're at the grouping area. How do they decide your roles?
They give you a card.
But
They just hand you the
just
card.
at
It's
random.
random.
Yeah, it's random, and then
Yeah.
but before that they go, oh well, you guys can just switch if you want,
Okay.
and they just hand you out the things.
Okay. Tell me about your experience on the actual ride, whether you liked it or not.
Well,
Honestly.
I'll be
Honestly,
sort
yeah.
of brief because I've already talked about it
Right.
on our. We did basically a briefing in case you have reservations. These are the things that you should know. I thought the ride was fine.
Okay.
It wasn't designed very well because if you're a gunner or an engineer, if you're doing your job properly, you're not paying attention to the show. And if you're
Agreed.
paying attention to the show, you're not doing your job properly by pushing buttons and stuff.
Okay.
Unless you're great at video games like I am. I'm excellent at everything.
No, it's not.
But for the most
Agreed.
part, I didn't really care for the ride. I thought it was kind of clumsy. I thought it was, again, too much. The film, the actual ride. Right. There's a lot going on, and it was kind of hard to really see what
Is it
was
3D?
happening. No, it's not 3D.
Okay.
But it looks like you're in a movie, right? I don't know. It's hard to say. Like you're escaping Batuu and you're going through these tunnels and you're going through all this, starship, and you're trying to chase this train or whatever. I don't know. I didn't really get it. I didn't really even like it all that
Yeah.
much. I don't ever have to go back and ride it again.
Huh.
I got the experience. It's fine. What did you girls think?
You definitely have to pay attention to the pre-show. So when you're in the pre-show film area, it's not a film area. I mean, Hondo Anaka's telling you while you're there, and he's saying you're going to smuggle these goods for me, and I need pilots, engineers, and gunners. If you don't pay attention to that, you're not sure what you're doing there. And then you basically have to have a good cast member explain to you what you're supposed to be doing, because you don't just sit there and enjoy the ride. You have to control things, otherwise, like, Hondo will yell at you. So the very first time I went on it, I was a pilot, and I got lucky. Don't ride it unless you're a pilot. You have to be a pilot. It's so much fun if you're a pilot. But
Yeah.
the cast member didn't tell me where I was supposed to look, because there's a screen that tells you where you're supposed to be aligned. So the whole time Hondo's yelling at me, pilot, and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing something right now. And so buttons will light up at you when you hit the button, or the joystick will light up and you're supposed to move. So I think eventually it will be really fun once guests learn how to operate the gaming part of it. And then it will get good and you can start actually earning points and that kind of thing. But I don't know. Other than that, it made me a little bit nauseous.
Jeez. Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to take people a while. And I didn't know that cast members were letting people kind of go back on multiple times, because they draw on your wristband. They make a little mark when you go on. So I figured, you can only go in once. But I was waiting for Taryn to finish the ride, and there was 2 kids. They went on 3 times. And they even said, and they were 15 or whatever, right? So they've grown up playing video games. And they're like, I just start to understand it. But that's the problem. Like Maddie's saying, you need to be the pilot. The pilot is the most important part of that ride. Plus, it's also the most fun because you do the most stuff. So if you're not the pilot, you ride it maybe 2 times. You're not the pilot. You're like, this is really boring. Then you get to be the pilot, but then you don't know what you're doing. So you have to learn. There's a learning curve for the pilot role because everybody else depends on you. It just seems, again, kind of too much.
Agreed.
They try to pack too much into it.
So, one of our listeners, Greg, not Greg.
Okay, Greg, not Greg.
No, not Greg, but actually not Greg. Different Greg.
All right, his name is Tim.
Yes, right. So he said that he gets motion sickness on Star Tours.
So do I. I can't ride that ride.
Well, he's wondering if he'd be able to ride this ride.
No, you'll get sick.
Okay.
I mean, if you're an engineer or a gunner, you could just look at your board and keep pressing the buttons,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because I don't, I sometimes feel a little bit on Star Tours, but then I got off of Smuggler's Run and I was like, wow, I need to go sit down.
Wow.
Jeez.
So, Star Tours makes me I have to take always halfway through the ride, I have to take my glasses off and just look down.
And you don't even wear glasses on Smuggler's Run. It's just that.
There's no way I'm too old for that.
Yeah, it's just the motion of it. I don't know.
Okay, so, all right, cool. So let me, I know that, Jason, I know you said you had some merch for us to see. Let me ask you, the 3 of you guys, what was the coolest merchandise that you saw that you did not buy?
Oh, jeez, dude.
Well,
That's
Jason
definitely the lightsaber. I mean, just looking at those pictures, I wish I had we had gone into the shop just to see, how it was built, but the lines were just way too long. To even just get in. So, I mean, I wish I had looked a little closer at those lightsabers.
Me too, because our friend Matt worked on a lot of that stuff in the Den of Antiquities is what it's called. It's not even called Build Your Custom Lightsaber Here. It's called the Den of Antiquities. Right. Anyway, but yeah, he built the thing, and I was like, he was talking to me about it the next day. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he showed me photos. I'm like, I've never been in this area. He goes, did you go to Star Wars Land? I'm like, yeah. But I have no idea what he's talking about, because I just assumed that the lightsaber thing was just I don't know. I mean, I went into the droid one. I was kind of bored with it. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to build a droid. And it looks like I don't know. I wasn't really impressed with the theming, but, whatever.
I'm still really, really curious about what they're going to do, because they have Galaxy's Edge. They have an entire area dedicated to Star Wars where you can ride a simulator based on Star Wars, where you can build a lightsaber from Star Wars, and then in Tomorrowland they have a simulator that's based on Star Wars, and you can build lightsabers based on Star Wars. And the ones they have in Tomorrowland are jank. You know what I mean? It's like the Toys R Us. Well, rest in peace, Toys R Us. But the Toys R Us Star Wars lightsabers that collapse on themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm wondering what they're gonna do. I mean, it's so weird.
Oh, speaking of lightsabers, so when you go in and they have the red, they have the kyber crystals, right? Which, if you're any sort of nerd, that gives the Star Wars
power.
The Star Wars sword. It gives it the color. It changes the color of the light, right? Yeah. But there's rare black kyber crystals out there that are super, you can sell them for $400 on eBay. Yeah, they're super rare. And someone was telling me that it was an error in the manufacturing. Yeah. They put too much red coloring in it, and it turned it black. And so instead of junking him, they put him in and sold them.
Nice. By the black kyber crystal, you get a free metal sport on eBay. It's not bad, right? It's not bad.
Do you see potential for this land to grow?
Like expand out the thing?
And by expand, I mean like take over Toontown.
No. There's no
one's ever gonna
one's ever gonna get rid of Toontown.
God, they should.
I like Toontown. We like
Toontown. Matt and I do. We love Toontown.
Gadgets Go Coaster, yes.
We cruised through it while Alice was sleeping, and it was rad. There were a lot of people there. I think it's seeing a resurgence.
Okay.
But no, they're never gonna.
So you don't think you don't think the land will expand at all?
I mean, not through Toontown. Maybe the back. I don't know, Maddie. Maybe you can expand on that a little bit more. But I don't think there's a whole lot of room back there.
There's no
room behind it backs up to the Mickey and Friends parking structure. There's no way they can keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, you can also see the end of the land from Mickey and Friends too. It's right on the edge of the road, so.
Oh. I mean, honestly, what else could they do? I don't know. I think it's already sort of out of place. And we were saying it when we announced when Disneyland announced this land. We've been saying it on the show forever. It doesn't belong at Disneyland. It is so out of reality for the rest of the park. It's so out of sync that I don't know. I would hate for it to expand. To be honest with you, I think it was cool. I think they did a great job. It should have been its own park somewhere down the 5 somewhere. Dude, put it in Irvine or something. I don't know.
Did the area feel like seasoned? Like, were there a lot of
seasoned?
What I mean by that is that were there a lot of
older gentlemen,
easy ladies? Come on. Did it feel like it was there for a while? Did it feel like the
broken
cast? Did it, well, kind of like, did the cast members seem like they knew what they were doing, or were there a lot of hiccups? Because I mean, you guys were there. Day 1 and day 2 of the land being open to the public.
For me, the only hiccups I saw were the long lines for merch. I mean, in the central marketplace, they have a bunch of shops, but they're not very deep. They're probably as deep as this studio, even a little bit less, right? Okay. So they have, a lot of stuff, but it's not really some they just look like stalls.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where they have one cash register.
Right.
And so I would take a thing and go out. You would exit the stall, the shop, and walk 5 or 6 people deep, and then get in line to pay for the thing. I waited 10 minutes for a thing, to buy a thing.
That's weird, man.
It was so for me, that was a big hiccup. They should have had, give me 2 registers. Give me 3 registers. I mean, people are going to be buying stuff on the first day. Why am I waiting 10 minutes for this stuff? So that was really it.
Right.
Everything else for me, and the line for the cantina, but I sort of knew that was going to happen. Everything else kind of seemed flawless, and I don't know how Brittany or Maddie felt on it, but...
Okay.
Yeah, I think the cast members got to work out the kinks during the previews for the cast members. There were times where we would feel confused while we were in the land, and I didn't feel that way when I was there my second time with my actual reservation. The cast members actually felt like they were confident and had a grip on what was going on now.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I did hear that the reservation system had been in use for the cantina during media day, but then it wasn't in use for regular people. So I'm not too sure what happened there, but I wish that was a kink that they had worked out for opening weekend, because we did hear that. I mean, there are reservations now that you can make for the cantina. So I wish that kink had been worked out, but the cast members were definitely well themed. I would say almost too themed. Standing in line, Maddie and I were standing in line for pictures in front of the Millennium Falcon. And the cast member was just super into his character, to the point where I was a little confused. And even talking from one cast member to another, it was just a very strange vocabulary. I mean, it was themed vocabulary for sure.
And that's what's cool about Galaxy's Edge, is that it is the first line where they, as a cast member, you're trained to be in show. No matter which land you're in. If you're in Adventureland, you are in 1930s, the Lost Delta in India. But in Galaxy's Edge, it is if you are out of show, you're not allowed to be out of show. And that was the cool part about it, was being really immersed in it. All cast members had a backstory. So you could ask a cast member, how long have you lived on Batuu? And they will tell you their whole life that they have come up for themselves.
Really?
And I think that's really cool. But there were some points where, you could get confused. There was one time I was trying to pay for something, and a cast member was like, "Can I see your credentials?" And I was like, I'm sorry. And they're like, your credentials. And I was like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Do you mean my credit card? And they're like, oh yeah. I was like, okay. So like there's some times where it could get in the way, but other than that, the immersion is really, really cool and makes you really feel like you're on a different planet.
Yeah, Taryn was telling the story that while she was in line ordering, or at least waiting for the food in loading bay 7 or whatever it's called, there was a lady that she was what was the story? She was like short changed or something like that, and the guy's like, she was asking for a price, and he goes, oh, that's 5 credits, and she's like, I don't understand. Well, that's 5 credits. She's like, how do I buy credits? And she didn't get the thing.
What is the dollar to credit ratio?
Yeah, but the cast member clearly was getting, I guess, frustrated because he's like, well, I can't say, right?
This is ridiculous.
It's a little weird. So they greet you with bright suns, right? Or if it's dark, it's rising moons, like it's nighttime or whatever.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's a thing.
It sounds a lot like
it's LARPing, and
it's like an acid trip.
There were no forks in medieval times, therefore there are no forks at medieval times.
That's like a refill on your Pepsi.
Exactly.
There's no forks, but there are Pepsi.
Come on. I got a lot of tables.
Got a lot of tables, man.
That's what it feels like. It's so weird to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys were there for 4 hours. A solid 4 hours.
Yep.
You guys were kicked out at the end of your time.
We left voluntarily, but yeah.
Oh, you know what I mean.
How do they shuffle you out?
They didn't.
I mean,
we just left.
Well, right. But for people who overstay their welcome.
I don't know. I saw a lot of people with the earlier group color wristband while we were there. So they had an hour overlap.
Right.
But we were there. Right? Yeah, we had like an hour left, and I saw people with the previous group. I don't think they really cared, to be honest with you. Okay. I don't know, man.
Did 4 hours fly by, or was it too much?
I spent most of the time in line. I have no idea.
Okay.
I felt like it went by really fast.
Yeah. For sure. You could definitely spend more than 4 hours there just looking at the land and the amount of detail that went into it.
Yeah, Brittany and I did Cantina, and we rode Smuggler's Run twice, and then after that we had to rush to go look at things. We were kind of running through the marketplace, and then we were like, okay, let's run back to the Millennium Falcon and take pictures, and then by that time we were done.
Okay, so you said you were rushing and looking at things. What was your favorite design element of the area? What was, I know that obviously Disney being Disney, they're going to have everything be really detailed, but what was your favorite design element of the entire area? What was the thing where you're like, I have to take a picture of this, besides the Millennium Falcon?
Oh gosh, I think just like the rock work or whatever it would be called, like the facade is like insanely detailed. Like it looks like it is actually real.
Yeah, wow. It was incredible. It blew me away. It had like old moss, that like sometimes when moss dies and it gets that yellow like staining. It was incredible.
Nice.
100%.
Okay.
I agree. I stared at that for a really long time because you would think that it would go on for quite a while. The Force perspective was really, really done well, I would say.
Okay.
My favorite part was in the Central Marketplace. There's a place called Rondo Roasters or whatever it is, and they have a pod racer engine, roasting a bunch of meat.
Nice.
And you see the thing. It's hanging from the ceiling, and it's like kind of shakes sometimes, and it looks. Mm-hmm. It looks great, and it has a droid like turning the spit. It was cool. That was my favorite part, aside from the Millennial Falcon or whatever it's called.
The Millennial Falcon.
Yeah.
Falcon.
Yeah, Falcon. The Falcon.
All right, so about ready to land this thing. Sure. Okay, so looking at what we gave up, being Big Thunder Barbecue, Wally Bogue, a good
Wally Bogue.
Yeah,
he's been gone for.
You know what I mean. They had the show back there.
Okay.
A good portion of Rivers of America. A lot of money because ticket prices are going to go up. All this stuff. Would you say that what they did in in Galaxy's Edge is worth it? For what we're giving up, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. But what? Like you said, what was back there? A stage where you met Santa Claus
and good barbecue.
Actually, I never had the barbecue there.
It was fantastic.
Really?
It was fantastic.
Yeah. Look, I think it was obviously, Terrence. Come on.
I'm just trying to ask. I'm trying to interview.
You're doing great.
Yeah, I agree with Jason. I definitely think it was worth it. I don't think we lost too much besides maybe the ticket prices, but yeah, really, really well done. not a huge fan of Star Wars myself, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Nice.
True.
Cool.
I agree.
Also, did you guys take advantage of the Disney Play?
Yeah,
However-
so I want to talk briefly about Taryn's notes because
Okay.
obviously Taryn's not here, so she wanted to talk briefly a little bit about Oga's Cantina. Let's just back up real fast. She loved it. She loved the music. She said she has like a clip of it, but I don't want to sit here and kind of dig it. But she goes, it reminds me of my first time at Carthay. I never wanted to leave, and in 15 years when Star Wars Land is less busy, you can find me hanging out there.
Nice.
Which I thought was pretty cool. And then she talks about the app stuff. So the Disney Play app, you go once you're in the land, it changes and it's kind of themed for the land.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. You can do a few things. You can tune. We talked about it briefly on the show, but you can hit the tune function and you like what is it, like you hack in or you pick up radio signals
Right.
from other things, and it's kind of like the phones in like the in the old coffee shop
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah,
that play
yeah,
a
yeah,
recording.
yeah.
So it's kind of like that. It gives you a backstory. You can translate. So there's a number of in the Star Wars language. Yeah, I think it's Yarbaresh or whatever. It
Right.
is. But you can sit there and type that in. You can translate stuff all throughout the entire land.
Nice.
There's a lot of stuff to do. You can scan like little QR codes or whatever.
Nice.
Learn more about stuff.
Right.
You can hack terminals, which I did a lot of, but not a lot of it was really working. The tune was working, the translate was working, and obviously the hack. But like when you go there's a jobs board that you can do. So if you pick up a job to go fly the Millennium Falcon, and then after you fly the Falcon, you're supposed to get credits based on how you did. We are awarded credits, but they never showed up on the app. So I don't
Excuse
know.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was that was pretty much it.
Okay.
I do have it's a question from a listener. Let's just read it real fast. It'll read like feedback, but it's from Stephanie. Hey, Taryn, thanks for putting out the mini episode about Galaxy's Edge. My husband and I will be there on Saturday the 22nd with our 3 and 8-year-old boys. You didn't mention much about how you handled Alice during this time, and I'm wondering if you have any tips for bringing kids into Star Wars Land. I plan on bringing a stroller for my 3-year-old since that's just too much walking for him. Did you find that there was enough out-of-the-way stroller parking? Yes. You'll have tons of space for stroller parking. Don't worry about it. Do you know if there's a rider switch pass for the Millennium Falcon? Yes, there is. Just curious and a little worried. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do with or without a toddler in the new land as I get motion sick on Star Tours, so I'm not sure how I will hold up on this new ride, and I don't plan on buying any droids or lightsabers. Yeah, like we talked about before, if you're one of the other positions, you'll probably be fine. You can look away, especially if you're the engineer. You can just be focused on the board and glance up every now and then, but you'll be fine.
Somebody in the chat said that there was like an autopilot mode.
I don't know.
Yeah, so if they don't have to fill the ship you're on. So there's 6 people in there. They don't have to fill it. They could just set it to auto, and it will just do it on its own if there's not enough people in there with you.
Yeah, Maddie and I had. We were a party of 4, so it was me and Maddie and then 2 strangers. And Maddie and I were the pilots, and one was a gunner and one was an engineer. So the other 2, I guess, were on auto, right?
Yeah, so it just did it on its own, and Hondo would kind of like talk it out to you and be like, "Oh, the gunner's doing this," and you didn't really have to worry about it if it's on auto.
Okay.
That's cool. I had no idea. Yeah. All right, are we done, do you think, Terrence? Do you guys have any more questions for us?
I'm done.
I asked my 40 questions. I think we're good.
I asked my 7. I'm done.
Okay, that's cool. Brittany, Maddie, anything else you want to add? I might just hang up with you after that, and we'll get to all the merch and just let you guys go.
No, good.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Okay.
Gotta watch the Warriors.
Let's go Raptors.
Shut up.
I don't even know what any of this means.
St. Louis
Raptors
Blues
are in Universal Studios, I think.
Yes, they are.
Anyway, thanks, ladies, for joining us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, bye. Peace.
Bye.
Oh, God, finally got rid of them, huh?
I know, it's about time. Why did you bring them on?
Okay, let's talk merch.
I want to see it all.
So this is the thing that I waited 10 minutes in line for. It's a stuffed
God.
Jabba the Hutt. Am I on? Is it on
Dope.
camera?
Yeah, you're
It's
on.
on you.
This is from what's it called? It's called the Toydarian Toy Maker. So they had a lot of these little toys that look kind of handmade, right? And
It does. It looks like needlepoint.
yeah. I mean, look at the detail and the stitching. It looks great. They did such a good job.
Do I want to ask how much?
It's on. It says $20,
not
I think. Yeah.
That's not that bad.
No, I
It's a lot better
think
than I
so as
thought it
well.
would be.
Right? They also had a lot of wooden toys. So I bought a wooden Admiral Akbar,
It's a trap.
and you can adjust them and stuff. But they had a wooden stormtrooper. They had one that looked like made out of a block of wood. They had a wooden sand crawler.
Wow.
They just had a lot of really cute, cool toys.
Like something would be made on some outpost somewhere. Yeah, that's awesome.
From a kid that's fables, right? It's like making Peter Pan
This
or
is
whatever.
cool.
It's pretty
This
cool,
is super
right?
cool.
Kind of looks like Zoidberg a little bit from Futurama.
A little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought that was his mouth.
The
The
top of his
back of his head.
Here's another thing from the Toydarian toy maker. It's a little frog, and then you take it has a bone in its mouth, if you can see on the camera there.
Yeah, I can
right?
see.
But it's a musical instrument.
Oh, nice. That's kind of cool, dude. I like that.
Right?
Not bad.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Taryn actually picked that up. Can you tell the Toydarian toy maker was our favorite shop? Here's a Chewbacca.
Aww.
Oh, I love it.
He's
so cute.
Yeah, it's $20. I thought it was a pretty good deal. And so I'm like, I'm gonna buy all these for Alice.
Yes, for Alice.
Yeah, for sure. And then we get home and Taryn's like, Alice, do you want to see what Dad bought you? I was like, let's not. Let's just hold off for a second because she's not old enough to play with my
just pump those
toys.
brakes.
Yeah. That was ridiculous. We bought the
You guys
thermal
are
detonators.
Just ridiculous.
Which
You got a
was,
Sprite and a Coke?
yeah, basically, yeah. It was cool. I waited 5 minutes in line for this. And the top just comes off, it just pops off.
All
Which
right.
I was a little disappointed in seeing the CM just kind of slammed it on and handed
Right.
it over. I was like, oh, all right, but I don't know if you want to check.
I'm good.
It's just a bottle of Coke and a
That's
bottle of
fine.
Sprite.
That's fine.
So then you can go to the creature stall and you can buy some other stuff, things, and they send you home in this box.
Nice.
And it says creatures on it, and it has all the.
It looks kind of like the
word
Build-A-Bear
on it.
box.
Here, move it over closer to you by
Okay,
the camera. There you go.
it's kind of cool. So inside,
It's the thing that
This is
what's
like
his
a-
name lived in, right?
no, that was a
No,
tauntaun,
that was
but
a
it's
tauntaun.
the same movie. So good job. This is a wampa,
Nice.
and it makes a noise.
Or not?
Yeah, see there.
It's good. It's
No,
good.
I think Taryn turned it off because she hates me. There we go.
The tauntaun was
It's
the thing.
battery operated.
Okay. He doesn't scream when he gets his arm chopped off. Oh, that's quite accurate, actually. That's not bad. That's pretty
Anyway,
dope,
there you go.
dude.
Check that out, dude. I thought that was fly. It's I gotta get that. That's pretty cool. And then they have this other thing called a puffer pig, which I don't really remember where this was from, but it makes a noise like this. And it looks like a little loaf of bread. It's my little pig loaf baby. I love this stupid thing. It's great. We spent a lot of money.
I can tell.
But this thing is possibly Bev broke
It is worth
my
nothing.
toy. Beverly. No, it's fine. You
It
just rip the
just
tag
came
off. It's
off.
fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Do me a favor. Put the camera on you guys for this toy.
Okay.
Switch to the up camera
Okay.
and then let's move this camera.
Okay.
Okay, how is that shot?
It's just me.
Okay, perfect. So this thing,
Oh, bro.
I'm gonna hand it to you in a second. It's called a Rathar, and it's this big wormy, squiggly looking thing. Here, take that.
That's awful.
Yeah. It's super cool.
I don't like this at all.
So look on the side of it, on the direct side of it, there's a yellow button. Push it.
I don't want to press it.
No, push it. It's fine.
Oh. Ew.
Dude.
Dude. Push it again.
It's still going.
Yeah. Push it again.
Oh no, I wasn't on camera. I forgot to transition it.
Oh, man.
It's okay. I'm on overhead.
Oh, God damn it.
Stop it.
Oh, just push that button again.
I cannot find it.
It vibrates. It like shakes and does this
Wow,
whole thing.
that is violent.
Yeah, it's pretty
It
good,
looks like
man.
a toothless Sarlacc from.
I hate you so much.
That's dope, dude. That's not bad.
Man, we were sitting in car. I think it was Carthay. Met Brittany and Maddie after we went. And I handed this to Brittany, and she inadvertently pushed that button and just did the same thing. I'm like, oh, this is great. I got to pull this trick on Bev.
You're the worst.
Anyway, it was cool. I had to have one. Anyway, they have a lot more, more stuff over there, but for the most part, that's it. And that's the stuff that we bought. Merch is
Nice.
great. The high quality merch all around. They have really cool costumes. There's a lot of patches and stuff for like the first order and ranks, and you can
Nice.
really get into that, which we didn't obviously do. We didn't buy a droid. You can buy a life-size replica of R2D2 for $25,000,
That's dumb.
and apparently, like 3 people have bought it.
That's dumb.
Yeah,
But okay. That's really dumb.
People have too much money.
people have too much money, dude. Absolutely. So that's it. That's really the Star Wars Land review. Just to cap it all off, I think they did a great job, of course.
I hate that thing. I still hate
Oh,
it.
I also found a plug, an
Okay.
outlet
I saw that.
for charging.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's
Not
right
bad.
by the bathrooms. You check it out. There's like a little tunnel bridge thing or whatever, right by the bathrooms.
Nice.
It was a key find for sure. But I think it kind of went over the top a little too much. They kind of went a little too hard on it. Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's kind of the talk around
Okay.
the coffee, the water cooler
The water
or
cooler.
whatever. Yeah, it's just because it's incongruent with everything else in Disneyland. Now
Okay.
it kind of
Okay.
makes Disneyland look outdated.
Well,
Right.
that's true. Gotta step up their game.
All right, did we answer everybody's questions from the chat?
I think so.
Okay, cool. How you like these the maps, huh? They're super high quality.
Yeah, the map's nice.
You can sell them on. Actually, so that night I went to the hotel room and just looked on eBay for all the stuff we bought, see how much it is. People were selling these for $15.
Were people buying them?
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, the Wampa I paid.
Is that the wormy thing?
No, the furry man that you have that made noise. I think it was like $40.
I loved him.
People were selling him for $180.
$40 on that?
Well, $39. But people were selling it for $175 on eBay.
Jeez.
It was incredible. I mainly went online to see what I can sell this indoor mug for, but no one was selling it. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Anyway, all right, let's do some news, huh? God, we're already at like an hour.
Yeah.
We're at like an hour and 15.
Yeah.
March in the past, present, and future with all the news that's fit to cover. It's the Earzup Disney News.
All right. Got a little bit of news here to talk about. Some important stuff, and then, and then that's it. Disney begins unveiling its 2019 Candlelight Processional Narrators. We always talk about this. We always say we want to go. We never get the opportunity to go. Walt Disney World has announced 4 of the narrators for its 2019 edition of Epcot's Candlelight Processional. So far, the schedule includes Whoopi Goldberg, December 6th through the 7th, Pat Sajak, 16th through the 18th.
Wait, who is Pat Sajak?
From Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune.
No, I'm good.
Stephen Curtis Chapman. I don't know who that
He's
is.
a Christian singer.
from way back in the day, bro.
Like way back.
From Jars of Clay?
80. No,
That-
that's
that
Dan,
time
that's
frame,
Dan
though.
Hazeltine.
Jeez. Well, he'll be there December 22nd through the 24th. And then the man, Edward James Olmos, December 25th and 26th.
Did they just send out a mass email said who's available?
I like Edward James Olmos, man. He's tight. Anyway, there's going to be 15 celebrity narrators, but that's all they've booked so far. But you can go to EpcotHolidays.com, apparently, and you can book candlelight processional dining packages as of July 3rd. So that's coming up pretty soon for you to do.
Doesn't Anaheim does that too, right?
They do, but apparently it's like super hard to get into.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't think they do dining packages or anything like that.
That's not what I mean. But do we know any of the narrators for that yet?
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I haven't seen it. But I was sure to let you know. Speaking of Christmas, because it's not too late. Or it's never too early to talk about Christmas,
it sure
right?
Isn't.
It's too early to hear Christmas music.
No, it never is.
I disagree. There's a new fireworks show coming to Disney World. Again, it's more Disney World news, but this is what they're announcing right now. So new fireworks show coming to Disney World's Christmas party. Apparently they do a Christmas party like our Halloween party.
Right.
You can buy tickets for. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. The dates, a bunch of dates in November, December. But anyway, they're going to do fireworks show hosted by Minnie Mouse, and will celebrate the magic of Christmas with melodies of beloved holiday songs from Joy to the World and Deck the Halls to Up on the Housetop and We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Ticket prices vary by date and range from $99 to $139, which was up, what do they say, about $4 or $5 from last year. So
wow.
They're trying to work you guys on the old Christmas party spectacular. If that doesn't make you mad, this might.
Okay.
Snow White. Live action remake.
Bro, why?
Because they make tons of money.
Didn't they already do that with Kristen Stewart and it was terrible?
No, that was
that was
Snow White
Red
and the
Riding
Huntsman.
Hood.
No, Snow White and the Huntsman. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
you're right. I don't know. I thought it was fine, I guess.
Nah, son.
500 Days of Summer and Amazing Spider-Man director Mark Webb is reportedly in talks to helm Disney's remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, which, of course, was Disney's first full-length feature.
Are the dwarves going to be CGI?
I don't know, man. It's a
Just
that's a
Peter
good point.
Dinklage in 7 different.
That's what they did with the new Willy Wonka, or the Charlie and Chocolate Factory. It's
Just
all the
one
same
guy.
dude.
Yeah. Not much is known about it, but they're in talks to hire people for it, and it's going to happen, and it will probably make a ton of money.
Of course it will.
I have like Wampa hair in my mouth.
Yeah, you just keep pulling at your lip, and I'm like, what's happening
What's
right now?
going on here? Here's some good news. Disneyland, finally some Disneyland news, will now provide child care assistance for cast members and employees.
Oh, that's
good.
great.
Yeah. Disney just announced on Thursday that the company is starting a new child care assistance program for cast members and employees of Disneyland Resort in Anaheim. The program, which will spend around $10 million a year, will be rolled out during the fall 2019 for both full and part-time employees and cast members of Disneyland Resort who have children 12 years or younger. From what we can tell, this program is evidence of Disney putting cast members first. Disneyland officials also shared that the new $10 million in child care assistance will amplify the resort's existing programs for employees and cast members, such as backup care, assistance in obtaining referrals for child care, parental educational resources, and homework help. It's kind of cool. There's not really a whole lot that I could see, but what does that mean? Do you bring them to a central location in the park? Do you is like a daycare center
like
10 minutes away or whatever? What's going on? But Disneyland definitely, as much as we like to kind of hammer them on like paying people more money, I think it's a pretty good idea.
I support this. This is great. Childcare. I mean, I know people who quit their jobs because it was cheaper for them to stay home with their kids than send them to daycare. Like not multiple, like one kid. So
Wow.
I mean,
No, I feel pretty lucky
childcare is insane.
that I can stay home with Alice because it's saving us a ton of money.
It is.
Yeah. And then last but not least, with Star Wars expansion open, Disney gets permits to launch Marvel Land.
What?
In the place of Bugs Land, right? We knew that was coming in or whatever, but now they're starting to pull permits. And this is from the LA Times, and I have some issues with a particular part of this.
Okay.
Let me see if I can figure out what part.
Oh, I bet you can. It'll be super easy. If you thought Walt Disney Company would stop and catch its breath after opening its hugely popular Star Wars land, I'm just adding that in.
Right.
Think again. The Disneyland Resort has moved full steam ahead on building next year's planned expansion, a land at California Adventure Park themed for the superheroes of Marvel Comics and movies. The city of Anaheim has approved a handful of building permits for projects such as a bathroom overhaul, a retail outlet, a microbrewery,
Are you serious?
A character meet and greet area, plus improvements to behind-the-scenes buildings. The construction permits assess the value of the work so far at more than 14 mil. One of the permits approved Wednesday allows for a 2,000 square foot merchandise outlet with 3 attached canopies. For comparison, the average home in Western U.S. is 1,800 square feet, whatever. What? That's a stupid thing to put down. Disneyland representatives declined to comment on the permits or what type of attractions would be included in the new land, but previous news releases hinted that one attraction may be an interactive ride that lets visitors help Spider-Man fight the forces of evil. More details about the land are expected to be released at the Disney celebration known as D23, August 23rd to 25th at the Anaheim Convention Center. Pretty excited about all of that.
Except the microbrewery.
Well, look, man, that's so... Okay, so... I never really thought they were going to put a microbrewery in there. Like someone, when they released the artwork for Marvel Land, they're like, oh, Pym's microbrewery. It's going to be themed for Ant-Man. It's going to be because it's microbrewery.
Right.
And I'm like, there's literally no, I've said on the show, there's no way they're going to put a working brewery in Disneyland.
Right.
There's literally no way. There's too many logistical nightmares to go through.
Yes.
And then this happens. And it's like, it's not a brewery. So there's one dude on
it's
Twitter.
It's a brew pub or whatever.
Right. And that's not even a brew anything.
It's a tap room.
Yeah,
it's
a tap room. That's dank. It's over-the-counter beer service.
Exactly.
But they're calling it a microbrewery because it's themed to Ant-Man. Micro is ant.
Yeah, but there's no beer production. You can't call it that.
I think you can.
No.
There's no legal definition.
By definition, a microbrewery does a small amount of beer.
Yeah. So someone on like Disney Twitter or whatever pulled this permit and he goes, this is what I think the brewery is. And I told him, I was like, this is not a brewery. Here's the description. DCA Golden State Expansion, Building 753, new commercial construction, 8,778 square feet, first floor restaurant and second floor equipment room. It's not which could be. It could be the second floor as a brewery. They're calling it an equipment room, maybe.
It could be like what they do at Ballast Point down in downtown Disney, where it's basically a pilot system.
So here's the permits for Ballast Point.
Okay.
You can find all this out.
Right.
I found it out. I'm stupid. So it's pretty easy to find out. Excuse me. Downtown Disney Building D, Unit 203, Ballast Point, change of use, non-residential addition, 1,717 extension on second floor, new bar, dining, elevator, machine room, and infill floor, change of occupancy, existing merchandise to restaurant/brewery. So they
even though it's
clearly,
a pilot system, but they call it a brewery.
Well, because they're going to be brewing beer on site.
Right.
They clearly state that it's a brewery in the thing. Now, I know that descriptions don't matter, I guess, a whole lot, really, and stuff can still change.
Right.
Because if you pull older permits, things can kind of get a little fuzzy.
Right.
But this is the most current permit issued on 7/25/2018. This is the Ballast Point permit for the brewery. Maybe it's the permit to change that building into a functional brewery.
Right.
So maybe for this thing, if they were going to put a brewery in downtown or in Marvel Land, they have to build the building first and then change the permit to a brewery and then do that. I don't know how that works, but I would bet 95% of me, 99% of me, they're not going to put a microbrewery. They're not going to put a brewery in there.
No.
Because even you talk about your spent grain.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was looking at the map, and the entrance and exit to the back lot, Terrence, this as well as I do, of downtown Disney is super easy.
Yeah.
It's right off whatever road, and you go, boom, right in there, right?
Yeah.
Disneyland, the access road is from Cars Land. You go underneath where we ran, where we did the race, all the way back through beyond by Toontown.
And then, that's right.
So you're going to have trucks going through during the day, like going back to drop off the spent grain or get rid of the spent grain, or at night.
I'm trying to think of how you're even going to get it out, because Bugs Land is smack dab in the middle of that area. There's really no access there unless you're coming in. So you'd have to come in from the gate that's if you're looking at Guardians of the Galaxy, to the right of it, where the trolley comes out. You'd have to come out that way and then go through the land, get it, and get, 7 barrels worth of spent grain and take it out that way?
Or whatever, right? And that's the other issue. What about capacity? How much are you going to be brewing?
Right.
Are you going to be really managing customer demand for new styles or new this or new that. You're going to have a full-time brewer turning. I mean, how much beer do you think Disneyland even sells?
Right.
So you have to keep up with that. A portion of it is going to be different because it's going to be beer that's brewed on site, right? And so it's already going to create kind of a different demand than the Karl Strauss booth.
Yes.
But that also percentage will increase because it's brewed on site, and it's going to be much more interesting for people. So how do you, I see what you're saying. So how do you sit at the bar and you go, I want a porter. Oh, well, we don't have, we have 10 hazy IPs. Well, which one did you brew? Well, we haven't brewed it because we sold out. They're going to be constantly out of beer. So how do you keep up with that demand? You need so much tank space
There's not gonna happen.
I mean, what's the square footage? 8,000 square feet
that's not
for a restaurant and second floor equipment room. I mean, you could definitely do a brewery there, but it's very tight.
I am willing to bet 100%.
It's ambitious.
I'm willing to bet 100% that there is going to be equipment up there that's never used. It's just for show, and they're going to contract all their brewing out, and that's what they'll do. There's no way. I mean, if you're looking at the space, there's no way that they could brew enough beer on site to do that. All the logistics are mind-boggling already.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
And excuse me, for those of you not in the know for beer stuff, it might be really boring.
Forgot what show we're on. Sorry.
But when you're making beer, at the end of it, you have all this wet grain that all the sugar's pulled out of it to ferment to make the beer. So you have all this grain. Typically, what breweries will do is give it to farmers and all that kind of stuff. But you need to get it there. Sometimes the farmers will pick it up. Sometimes they have to deliver it, whatever. But here you would need on-property trucks during restricted hours to get permits to remove the grain or smell-proof storage during the day, because if you ever have dealt with spent grain, after 2 days, it starts rotting.
Yes.
And it legitimately smells like a rotting animal. It stinks. So you need to get rid of that. So how do you do it? Then you have deliveries, hops, and deliveries for grain, deliveries for CO2, all the stuff.
Everything,
then what about packaging? Are you going to serve all of that on site? Are you going to keg some of it? Is there going to be some distribution? Is there not? How are you going to store all this? It's just, there's so much that I guarantee you they're not going to be doing it. It's not a microbrewery, but everybody's running with the story, and nowhere are they saying it's a microbrewery. It's not even written in the, I think even in the art for Marvel Land. Someone just made that up.
Right.
And then now there's, influential weirdos on Twitter saying, well, this is the permit for the microbrewery. No, it's not. It's a permit for a restaurant. It's not a permit for a brewery.
It's a permit for a restaurant that's going to sell beer.
It'll have 2 fermenters, probably just the front half of it, showing towards the outside to make it look like a brewery. Nothing will be brewed on site.
Exactly. No, Pyramid, they brewed.
Oh, only Berkeley, but not Walnut Creek.
Yes, they did. I brewed there with John.
Really?
Yes, they had to. So in order for them to keep their brew pub license, they had to brew 200 barrels a year, or gallons maybe. Gallons or barrels, I forget. I think it was
200
barrels.
gallons is nothing.
Yeah, but so I think it was 200 barrels. So they had to do it, but then they had the guy brewing there for a long time. He was making actually the best beer at Pyramid in Walnut Creek. That was best Pyramid beer was the beer coming out of Walnut Creek that John was making. I forget his last name, and then they pulled him to go work at Berkeley.
Okay.
And then it just sat there, and then the whole thing just kind of closed down because they didn't, care anyway. But they might have tanks there. It's not going to be a brewery.
No, it won't be.
I would bet anybody any money.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if you were looking forward to having a brewery, but now things could change. I even went to look on like the ABC for licensing and stuff, and that I was talking with.
Wow, this really lit a fire under you.
Well, because I don't like it. I don't like. It's not. I don't know. I know a thing or two about beer. I know a thing or two about Disney, and it's when those two worlds meet, it's not very often.
Right.
So I get very passionate about it, but now I forgot what I was. Oh yeah, the liquor license. He goes, well, the buildings have to be built first, and then the licenses get But you can look up Disneyland's liquor licenses on ABC. It's pretty cool. Like Club 33 has one. All of Disneyland apparently is permitted to sell alcohol.
Hook it up.
But anyway, so once you see permits being pulled for somebody in Disney to have a brewery license, which would be a Type 23 license, then that's your proof. They could be outsourcing it to some other brewery to come in and brew beer, but I don't know, whatever.
Isn't there another type, like a 78 license? Or
Yeah, but I think for what they would be doing as a small brewery, selling most of their stuff over the counter would be Type 23, because they're not going to be packaging, they're not going to be distributing it or anything, but are they going to keg it? Are they going to take that beer to other locations in DCA?
Who knows?
That would make the most sense. If you're going to put that much effort into building a brewery, then you would need to distribute that beer, because it's going to be cheaper for you instead of buying it to send it to these other places in DCA. It's just never.
But that
gonna
also
happen.
still just creates a supply and demand problem that they can't keep up with.
It's insane. It's crazy. It's insane. All right, that's it. I think we're done.
Okay.
Any questions from the chat room? Anything we should answer?
I think we're good.
Anything I wanted to talk about? Oh, we have a new, speaking of Kyle, we have a new, and rumors, we have a new article on our blog written by Kyle. It's a new segment we're going to be starting. We're starting a whole lot of new stuff here. I believe it's called Rumor Report. I forget what it's called. But basically, Kyle, if you think that lit a fire under me about microbrewery,
oh my gosh.
rumors and Kyle, our friend Kyle, he can't stand him. He freaks out about it.
Yeah.
So I challenged him. I was like, look, let's start writing articles about this. Because he reads these Disney fan sites and Mice Chat, whatever. We've slagged off
and then
Mice
he gets
Chat
pissed
for a
and
long
texts you.
Yeah, and then we sit here and chat about it, and it's like, well, okay, I mean, that's cool. So anyway, there was one about, and oddly enough on Earzup In Depth, Jeremy and I covered this, but it was about a survey sent out to a, quote, small group of people. This is a Mice Chat article, that how would you guys feel if Small World went away? And the author was like, well, could it be that they're making room for an expansion of a newly formed part of the park, Star Wars Land? So
you think they'd get rid of Small World? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Right? Can you honestly tell me that wasn't just made up because they need clicks? Anyway, so Kyle basically just went off, but not in a way that I would, where you'd be insulting. He goes, think about it. Small World has about 2,000 person capacity an hour.
Right.
They're not going to. Basically, his whole thing is think about it how you would run a theme park. A new Star Wars Land expansion might look cool, but what are they going to put there?
Right.
Will they ever be able to put a ride that will eat that many people? No.
Never.
Right.
Also, to do that, they have to bulldoze Toontown, which is right in between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Are they ever going to do that? No, because what are they going to do that to fill the spaces?
Right.
It's just like all these other rumors about, actually, I think it was on Mice Chat a month or two ago, about they were going to get rid of Interventions, the submarines, Autopia for the Tron light cycle.
Right.
No, they're never going to do that. It would look cool.
I mean, they should get rid of Autopia.
But they're never.
And the submarine.
Yeah, and they might maybe do Autopia at one point. I don't think they ever will. But,
I don't either.
But you can't get that many people in there.
No.
And that's what it is. It's about capacity. That's what everybody's complaint is that there's too many people in Disneyland. So you want to hide those people. I mean, I would be surprised if they didn't start doing something for these older rides, making some extended queues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't know how they would do it. I don't know, dig a hole, whatever. I don't know what's going to happen.
Dig a hole.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's the only place they can go. They can only go down.
Right.
Not going to affect the sightline.
Right.
But anyway, so when you read these rumor articles, think about it as a theme park. If you were running a theme park, anyway. Kyle went off. It was pretty funny. So you can read that on the website. Let's get out of here. I'm done. I'm done talking to you all.
All right.
I mean, not really, but I would love to stay in chat, but I got to split. Let me find my reads here, everybody. We have an exciting show coming up, I think, hopefully. We have any clarification, but or confirmation, but in July we're going to potentially be interviewing Raleigh Crump.
Yep.
I'm really excited about that. You have no idea. I just bought his book. It's kind of a cute story, is what it's called. Fantastic book. You should check it out. Anyway, thanks again to Getaway Today for sponsoring today's episode. Whether you're traveling to Disneyland, Disney World, or beyond, head over to getawaytoday.com/earsup. And don't forget to ask for the 21st Amendment beers wherever you find good craft beer, like DCA. Also, if you want to smell good, go to magiccandlecompany.com/discount/earsup. Be sure to use that code EARSUP or hit the URL, and you get a nice, fat, juicy 15% off your order. Great candles, all sorts of stuff. We've talked about it already, but they're good people. I got my stuff. It's great because it's almost too powerful. So you light the candle, and like 5 minutes later, you can put it out, and like you're fine. They last forever.
Yeah.
Great stuff. MagicCandleCompany.com. Use code EARSUP or the URL I mentioned. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hit us up on social media if you have any questions or to find out when the next live show is. And until then, we'll see you later.